Divya,
Welcome,
do check
Alice.
if, yeah.
Welcome to the Say Cheese community. Alice. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Absolutely well. Absolutely well. Thank you once again for coming over. I believe you came last year as well. And
Yep.
it's always nice to have people who understand the whole essence of Say Cheese and what we are trying to do here, which is to build a huge community for women. And by coming back, you're showing us your encouragement and support in our initiative. So really, thank you so much. And I believe it's late, very late evening for you, but you've been brave enough to join us at this time. Thank you so much. I will start with a
You're
quick
welcome. Thank you.
I will start with a quick introduction and then we can get going on a very interesting topic I have. So, Alice, you're a best-selling author. You're an accountability ninja. I love that word, by the way. You're a goal-setting master. You're a cool aunt. You're also you own your own business coaching firm called AMP, and you have a
Divya, you're not audible.
Yeah, I could not hear either.
place to more efficient and profitable
There we go.
enterprises. Wonderful. That's a long, arduous journey, and I'm sure it was full of a lot of hard work and heartbreaks and everything that you can think of. So we have a very interesting topic. Even a stroke won't stop me. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about your journey, Alice, before we get deeper into the topic?
Absolutely. So in 2004, my job was eliminated. I'd been at American Express here in the United States for 17 years. And then, boop, my job was gone. I was a vice president of field technology at the time. And after 17 years at one company, I knew I wanted to work for myself, kind of have control of my own destiny. So I started my company in 2004. And as we were sharing, worked my way up, had a profitable business. Things were rocking and rolling, and then along came 2012. I had to remind myself what year it was. 2012. I actually had a stroke, and that took me out of the game for quite a while. It was about 9 months before I could actually move back into my own house, that I could be on my own per se. And through that time, up until that time, I was working through things like reading and writing, walking, being able to put one foot in front of the other, understand where I was. One of the exercises I did when I was still in the hospital was take me to different floors and see if I could find my way back. And I got to tell you how scary it is those first couple of times because I couldn't. I couldn't remember where I came from or how to get back there. And that was scary. And I was really concerned that I would not get better from there. But lots of good support, lots of occupational therapy, physical therapy, and kind of continuing that drive that I still want to be in control of my own destiny.
Yeah,
So, kind of that same
yeah.
impetus that got me started with the company got me back on my feet and proverbial brain again, because that was my concern that I wouldn't be able to think clearly enough anymore.
Amazing. That's absolutely amazing, Alice. And I understand what you're trying to say about just the things that we take for granted sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
about, our own mobility and just being in control of ourselves, and how
Yep.
suddenly, just as at a click of a button or just at a snap, it's no longer something that you can take for granted. So, how did you really get into? I mean, how did you decide to get into business coaching? And what has been your experience of your, say, second inning, if I may call it?
Um, I got into coaching, business coaching, um, partly because one, I when you're with a company like American Express and run a department, it's almost like running a business because you have all the
Yeah,
HR stuff, the having enough work coming in, making the numbers balance. bringing in contractors. You need contractors above the employees. All those things are like running a business. When I started my coaching and consulting company, I did start doing more technology consulting at first. But as that evolved, I found there was much more of a need for that business piece. I kept running into people that were great at what they did, so they started a company, but they didn't know how to do the business part. They could do the service or the product part, but that business part was elusive. And that's where I found a real great niche and fulfillment in helping those people get the business part going, and then they were off and running.
I understand. So, in your experience, now that you've done several years of your own business coaching, what are the challenges or what do companies typically face because of which they either make a success of it or they fail? What, in your experiences, what are the reasons?
One key reason is having a plan. I love one of my favorite sayings is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Because if you just say, hey, I'm going to start a business and make a bunch of money, but how is that going to work? Where are you finding the customers? Where are you finding the resources? What is the plan to get from A to B to C? So that's the biggest key that I see in a lot of the work that I end up doing. I think the second is having that realistic expectation that you're not going to make $1 million overnight. There is work to it. There's that kind of steady improvement, not just a big jump. And making sure that you have that realistic expectation, and then the resources. Understand what you need, whether it's financial support or human capital or resources of a material kind, that you know actually what you need and where you're going to be able to find it.
Plan. I understand the plan is,
Yep.
according to you, the number one thing, a robust, solid plan.
Yep.
Which can take the company through. Now, moving on, because we are really all about building a community for women, and our main aim is to provide solutions in the space of career, health, relationships for women, and we do have a plan in place. What we wanted to ask you is, what are some of the key skills that women need to learn, whether they are in a corporate or whether they are starting out their own journey? I mean, in any space of their lives, or even as homemakers, anything they may be. But what are the key skills that we need to know? Because there were a lot that were existing in the past, and then there is this whole new, normal that we're living in. But I don't think some fundamental key skills will really change, or do they change?
I think morphed a little bit. And I do love what you guys have set up. I enjoyed setting up my own profile on the app and marking those things that I had strengths in and things that I needed to learn more about. So I'm looking forward to continuing that. So I think that there's a couple key things for women in whatever they're doing. One is confidence. You need to be able to work on that self-confidence, self-reliance, so that as you come into those professional conversations, encounters, you come across as confident and authentic. So, for example, one thing that I do, I'm standing because I present better, talk better, interact better, standing versus sitting. So I set my technology up so I can stand, and that helps me have more confidence in coming across. I think the other piece is being your appearance is professional based on your profession and what the context of that interaction. So is it a formal board meeting kind of interaction so that you're present yourself appropriately? For example, I would tend to probably wear a suit and be a little more tailored. And that's my definition of professional. If I need to be in a more casual circumstance, actually earlier today, I was in a meeting with a client where I'm going to be coaching one of his employees. And he was concerned that I would not necessarily be overpowering, but be a little too professional for her. So I actually dressed a little more casually. I wore jeans and a long sleeve t-shirt with my favorite college football team on it. And that was great because she was comfortable. She didn't see me as a threat like that very experienced professional coming in that knew a lot more than she did. She kind of connected with me on more of a human level, and we had a great interaction and are going to have our next meeting scheduled. So it's kind of understanding the circumstance you're coming into and being appropriately prepared for that. Uh, also coming across authentic, like I said, and preparing the way that works for you. So again, it's just easy to use myself as an example. I do better when I have like an outline, but don't like write out every word I'm going to say. So like for tonight, we talked about the questions. I made a couple bullet points, but I didn't write paragraphs of what I wanted to say because that's my style. I come across better if I don't have a memorized thing I'm trying to say. But that's finding your own style and make sure and see what works for you. And I think another piece to that is having this community of people. Because I know, for example, when I first started presenting and standing up and talking in front of people, coming back from my stroke, one of the keys for me was I had that close group of people that would tell me the truth. Not just, oh, you were great, but they said, you were good, but here's the thing that I know you do better at normally. And that was a wealth of comfort for me because I had the confidence they'd tell me the truth. I wasn't worried about wondering if they were just being nice or whatever. So I think having that community, which you guys are helping build, is a real key to that.
Wonderful. Some very insightful things in there. Confidence and your whole executive presence, and knowing whether to dress up or dress down and being flexible about it, I think, and then having your own style. So very relevant things. So before we really end the session, is there any advice you'd like to give the women on our platform for being resilient and staying in the new normal? I mean, things have changed. A lot of things have changed for women. Some are overworked, some are underworked. People have lost their jobs. People are not able to cope with a lot of the technology. People are looking for newer things to do. So, is there any advice you'd like to give women to stay resilient and strong in this period?
Great. I think one is having that sense of self. What do you want to do and accomplish, and being not single minded about it, but being focused.
Right.
And then along with that is that flexibility piece, understanding that, I did great interacting with people in person, but I've developed over this last year and a half or so a great ability to interact with people virtually. And that's helped me build my business because I now have clients spread out geographically because I can do this versus have to be in person. Being open to that education piece of learning what's going on and that desire to learn and being open to that, because that's really how you pivot and twist with what's going on right now, is being aware of what is going on, and then rely again on a community like this that will help you do that and build that skill set. I love that upskill section you guys had. But here's the things that we need to learn, and there'll be somebody who can help us with that, or a program or a project to help with that.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alice. I mean, insightful things. It was a short session, but we got a lot of nuggets of information which can help us stay relevant. Whether it's our own culture and what we bring to the table, or it's staying resilient in a time like this, drawing from your own inspiration of how things were at a point low for you, and how you came out of that. Thank you so much for your time today, Alice. It was lovely talking to you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.